What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? It's David here with Mac Tutorials 14. And so today I'm making another vlog just to kind of briefly go over a couple of things. So first things first, I actually was able to figure out how to record Five Nights at Freddy's, the first ever Let's Play that I did. So I actually recorded that earlier this afternoon. And how I achieved that was I actually went ahead and plugged in my my headphones via the microphone. So I had made the excuse beforehand that since the headphone jack was broken, I didn't know if I could do it. Well, I didn't make the connection before I had said that the sound works through the microphone. So if I plug the beats into the microphone and then plug the microphone into the computer via USB, now I'm able to hear out of the headphones instead of out of the computer. So that's what I used to record the video. I also used that microphone as well to record the sound. So it's still currently uploading. I don't know why it's so slow. If it doesn't upload at around like 8:35, because it said like 35 minutes remaining. So if it doesn't upload then I will go ahead and export this as a MP4, and then go ahead and import it to YouTube separately. So there's that. And then also, iOS 8.1 Beta 1 just got released to developers. What? And that was my immediate reaction to hearing that iOS 8.1 Beta 1 had just got released to developers. Like, they didn't spend much time at all. Apple really kicked itself in the, they really put their foot in their mouth with, 8.0.1, or kicked themselves in the, however you want to say it. They really screwed themselves over with 8.0.1 when that got released. So, a couple of days ago, 8.0.2 got released by Apple to fix all of those problems that 8.0.1 gave via Touch ID not working, and also, breaking the data so you wouldn't be able to text, make phone calls, or access the internet on your phone. So this actually only affected the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus models. This did not affect any of the other iPhones. That includes the iPhone 5, the iPhone 5S, or the iPhone 5C, or even the iPhone 4S. All those other devices that were able to download iOS 8, even the iPads and iPods, as long as they weren't iPhone 6s and iPhone 6 Pluses, they shouldn't have run into that issue. So anyway, now Apple is pushing out 8.1 Beta 1 to developers. We currently don't know that much about it. All that's really different is, or all that really stands out, is the new iBooks app icon. So when iBooks for Mavericks came out, it was using a different app icon than iOS. So a lot of people thought that was weird, and a lot of people had thought, over time that would change, and that it would be a universal app icon, and, they would change it to either that one, or they would change the Mavericks one back to the iOS one, which was not likely. So, oh boy, I almost tripped over that. So anyway, as of today, Apple has officially changed the iOS, the iOS app icon to reflect what the Mavericks app icon looks like. So if you've never used the Mavericks app, then the app icon, if you really look at all that stuff, the app icon will look different to you, just because it's like an open book, and it actually, it's not, I don't really know how to describe the other app icon. I'm trying to think of it in my head, but visually it's not the exact same as the new app icon, of course. So that's pretty much all that was changed right now. Now, this is Beta 1, so it expires sometime in December. Now, if you remember back, one of the weirdest parts is iOS 7.1, actually the first beta released in March. So we are months ahead of, we're months ahead of when the beta was actually supposed to be released, when 8.1 was actually supposed to be released in beta. Now, I understand that Apple was probably testing betas of 8.1 for themselves. Apple as in, Apple, the company, Apple, the offices in Cupertino are probably testing it to make sure everything's running smoothly. And then in March, they're going to push something out. They probably did that with 7.1 as well. Well, this year, for whatever reason, I guess maybe it's because there were so many issues with 8.0.1, Apple, I guess, wanted to push this out to users early. That way, users could actually report any bugs that they found in iOS 8.1 Beta 1. So, no one exactly knows what's going to be in iOS 8.1 Beta, or iOS 8.1, the final version. We could expect to see, though, one of two things. Most likely what's going to end up happening is Apple's gonna, we'd heard a lot of rumors about Apple splitting up iTunes Radio into its own separate app. So now that they have acquired Beats, Beats has this application called Beats Music, but Apple has since, I think it was sometime last week, they discontinued Beats Music from, I don't know if it was from the App Store or maybe they stopped supporting. I don't exactly know what the deal was, but for whatever reason, they just stopped supporting it. And now they're saying that they're going to make a revamped version of Beats Music later this year. So that leads me to believe that maybe what they're doing for iOS 8.1 is they're going to build a stock application similar to iTunes Radio, similar to Beats Music, and maybe meet somewhere in the middle, have some of the design aspects of Beats Music, some of the design aspects of iTunes Radio, put it in a separate stock app in 8.1, and call it something different. Who knows, maybe it'll still be called iTunes Radio, and then it'll just be a standalone app, and it'll have stuff that Beats Music had built right into it. We don't really know at this point, like I said. But yeah, so there's that one feature that I was talking about. The second feature that was really, really rumored, heavily rumored, before iOS 8 was announced was the fact that the newer iPads or iPads, as long as they're compatible with iOS 8, we're going to be getting the split screen multitasking feature. So this could be in 8.1 as well. Now, we do also know from what Apple has said that Apple Pay will be actually available for users when 8.1 actually drops. So that will be sometime in the spring. But who knows? The date for 8.1 can change. The date for 7.1 this year was, I believe, sometime in April or May of this year. So the dates can actually alternate. They can change. Since 8.1 is developing now so early, and they're pushing out the first beta to developers already, when the first beta to developers was in early March, and it didn't get released till late April, early May, I believe. So that means by the end of this year, 8.1 should be out to users, which is something really weird because normally a 0.1 release actually gets released in sometime in the spring of that next coming year. So it's a little bit weird to see Apple actually doing this. It's probably most likely because of the events of 8.0.1. Apple's probably shooting, they shot themselves in the foot there with that release. And now they're kind of just trying to backtrack there and see, okay, well, we don't want stuff like that to happen again, especially for this 0.1 release. Everyone's expecting the 0.1 release to be a lot better than, the original 8.0 was. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop the first beta of 0.1 and we'll drop it to developers. We'll push it to them, let them tell us what bugs we need to iron out or whatever, and then they'll report back to us and we'll be able to fix all this before the actual release come spring. So maybe that's what they're doing, or maybe it's going to be like out of the ordinary and they actually come out with the release December or January, maybe in time for the holiday season it comes out. This would be very, very rare for Apple. Again, like I said, a 0.1 release normally comes out sometime in the spring, with a actual 8.0 or 7.0 release coming out sometime in the fall, which normally happens sometime in September, October, which this year it came out September 17th, I believe. So, it was following the trend up until today when actually this happened. So it's still updating. We're still getting updates about what's in iOS 8 or iOS 8.1 Beta 1. But anyway, that's pretty weird. Let me know what you guys think about iOS 8.1 Beta 1 in the comment area below. Did you guys update? I mean, if you're already on iOS 8, since the downgrading window is closed, it can't really hurt. But anyway, I guess the same bug is still executable through iTunes that it was in previous years, where you get that ISPW, and there's a little bug in iTunes where if you do Option or Shift click Restore and then use that ISPW, it'll actually go ahead and put 8.1 or whatever ISPW file is on there. As long as it's being signed by Apple, it'll put that on your device without needing a registered UDID or developer's account. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Anyway, this really came out of the blue. It was almost as weird. It was almost weird hearing about it as hearing about it with the Pangu jailbreak release. Now, we kind of got some insight in this a little bit. There was news earlier in the day that Apple was actually already testing their point one releases. But when news comes out like that, I don't normally think, okay, well, if it says Apple's testing their point one releases, it means they're going to go ahead and release betas of their point one releases really, really soon. I thought that meant it was months and months and months away, at least 4 or 5 months away, before we actually saw the first point one beta released to the to developers. So it was a little bit weird, like I said, came kind of out of the blue. Anyway, guys, like I said, tell me in the comment area below, what do you think about this? iOS 8.1 Beta 1? Anyway, guys, until next time, this is David signing out. Peace.